Good morning. I have been wanting to talk to you about the general election, but I haven't had a second. Instead, seeing as it happened yesterday, I'm going to talk to you about who I voted for and why. While I make breakfast, if that's all right, because I have no time to do a sit-down video. I'm heading to the match after I make breakfast. Well, I'm heading to brunch first because I live on the south side of Dublin. And I love a bit of brunch, though I do. So first and foremost, I use the website whichcandidate.ie. That website asks what issues are important to you. It then asks you questions about those issues. And then it matches you with the candidate that most closely answered your answers on the issues you care about. Get it? I said that everything was important to me because everything is important to me in varying different levels. Okay, so now the kettle's boiled, the eggs are on, and the rashers are in. I don't want to discuss what constituency I vote in, but the candidates matched with me are as follows. Sinn Féin candidate number 1, Green Party candidate number 2, Independent number 3, one that I voted for before and was planning on voting for again, a Social Democrat candidate, or Soc Dems, as they said on the news, to which Alex basically said, what is Social Democrats too long for them to say or something? A candidate from the Solidarity Party, a candidate from the Solidarity Party, one of whom I think is a total prick, just as an aside. Labour candidate, Fine Gael candidate, Fine Gael candidate, Fianna Fáil, Fianna Fáil, Fianna Fáil, a Renew Ireland candidate, the National Party candidate, and then an independent. Those two independents must be pretty poor to come in underneath the National Party, which is a xenophobic, far-right, racist party, and Renew Ireland, which is similar. My favourite quote from Renew Ireland this election cycle was, when they were asked about public transport, they were like, people are dying over here, so excuse us if our first priority isn't how the average metrosexual cycles to Google for work. Weak. Okay, so this side also tells you what parties you agree with most. Okay, so those are the candidates. It was based on the candidates' answers. But it also tells you what parties you, like, based on manifestos, I believe, you align with. So, for me, those were, number 1, people before profit, which makes a lot of sense to me. But it's such a pity that people for profit have such a bad image. I really feel like I am aware of them as like hippies that don't do anything. Anyway, so Sinn Féin, number 2, who, Social Democrats, who, that's a good question, who? Green Party, if I recall correctly, the last time they were in government, they were a minority party in the coalition government and they just rolled over. Solidarity Party again, Fine Gael. Posh white, middle to upper class blue shirts, and only worried about their own ilk, in my opinion. Oof. Labour was next, and I would have considered myself a Labour voter, must be over 10 years ago. I canvassed for Michael D in his first presidential election run, but then I felt the actual Labour Party went into government and did nothing. Actually, sorry, that's incorrect. They did worse than nothing. They went into bed in a coalition government and then introduced essentially the equivalent of third level fees, despite promising not to do that. Fianna Fáil ruined the country and the economy and are incredibly unlikable to boot, unrelatable, again, like posh, white, middle class, mostly men, and some women who just couldn't give a fuck about the working class, in my opinion. I was trying not to swear in this video, damn it. And 2, who? Irish Freedom Party, racist. Renua, racist, sexist. And the National Party, xenophobes, far-right racists, also sexist. All those parties are against abortion. They all stand completely against what I stand for, which is why they're all dead last. Matched at me. Hardcore pass on all those 3, thank you very much. So walking from the car to the voting centre, I actually lost my phone. I did on the way out, though, check it had been handed in, and it had. So thank you to that nice person who found a wet phone on the ground and handed it in. I don't know how you saw it because it was black. I actually am so lucky that I got back. Anyway, so I didn't have it while voting, so I had to remember what I was recommended, and I actually remember pretty well, but I made some changes. So firstly, I did not vote Sinn Féin first. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I really feel like I need to be more educated on Sinn Féin and their history and, you know, whatever links they have or don't have before I can give them a first preference vote, even though I really am here for all of their policies and their Costa Manifesto. Now, they don't say where they're getting the money from for their Costa Manifesto, but, like, that's not my problem, that's their problem. I think what really holds me back, though, from voting Sinn Féin is that my dad lived on the Falls Road during the Troubles. He was a teacher, and he would, you know, he's told me the odd story about, like, walking to school or walking home while a bomb was going off. So, you know, I just need to be more educated before I make that decision. I've tried to convince my dad actually to write a book about it, but he thinks nobody would be interested in it. And I'm like, disagree. I do like Gerry Adams' tweets as well. I have a book of Gerry Adams' tweets, which is ludicrous. I saw a great tweet coming up to the election, and it was a video of Gerry Adams who posted on Twitter, and then someone said, "Isn't it mad how this absolute headbanger was once the most, you know, feared man in the state?" I voted for the independent candidate first. They came up third in my matches, but they, in my opinion, they're the most visible candidate coming from my area in terms of what they're at. Oh God, I forgot about the toast on. Yeah, he's right. I do get distracted when I do two things at once. He's going to kill me now. I voted for the Green Party second. Despite Alex slagging me that I don't recycle enough, I actually do care about the environment. But I'll be honest and say I'm assuming the Green Party has environmental policies because I haven't seen any of their policies. But they matched with me on those questions. I also, quick aside here, every candidate who put paper in my door, what are you doing? And every candidate who's using posters, what are you doing? This all needs to be online now. We need to stop with the posters and stop with the papers. And in particular, the people who put in my door, like that shiny card paper, harder to recycle. It's like a cacophony of breakfast sounds. Kettle, election on in the sitting room. So anyway, what I was saying was I gave Sinn Féin my number 3 vote. And in our system, that does mean that my vote could still go to Sinn Féin. We use proportional representation, which means your vote is particularly powerful because if a candidate is eliminated, their votes are redistributed, but also if a candidate is elected, the surplus of their votes is redistributed, and they are redistributed according to the percentage of second preferences given, if you get me. I'll put a link down in the description to the Citizens Information page explaining Ireland's proportional representation system. So I knew that the best way to keep Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael out was to vote the whole way down the paper for anyone I wanted to throw a vote to, and not include any Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael candidates. So after Sinn Féin, I voted for the Social Democrat, then one of the Solidarity Party candidates, the one that I don't think is a total prick. And then I finally threw the Labour candidate a vote. I didn't give a preference at all to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, or any of those other racist, sexist, far-right parties like Renua or the National Party. Please, like, could they please go away? That'd be great. So there you go. That's who I voted for, and that is why I voted for those candidates slash party candidates. So I guess discuss. I'll be down in the comments for the next week. So let's discuss. Okay, see you next week.